Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I know that in my readings I go deep when we talk about Divine Counterpart Astrology and we analyze the celebrity astrology. So I just wanted to give you a quick explanations of what is a birth chart. I already recorded that video and this is about synastry. What is a synastry chart? And synastry is a combination of two people's birth charts. Here we do see Kim Kardashian. I use her and Kanye, yes, because I already started doing a little research on them, or basically I just opened their files yesterday to see if I wanted to do a video on them. That's the research I've done so far, I admit it, but I actually do have them open right now, so that's why we are using them. And you see, this is Kim Kardashian's birth chart. She's a Sagittarius rising. Her sun, this is very interesting, isn't it? It's right on the cusp between the 10th and the 11th house. It says 11th house here. However, it makes sense to be on the cusp. The 10th house is showing about our public image, and somebody with the sun in 10th house, of course, it could highlight being famous. And the 11th house is about networking. And I mean, she is really big on social media, I believe, so it makes sense. Anyway, this is Kim Kardashian. We do have the sun in Libra. We got the moon in Pisces, which would be down here. And the AC in Sagittarius, as we see here. I accidentally clicked on that. And then we do have Kanye West. Unfortunately, you see, we do have her houses here. The first, the second, and the third. We don't have his birth time, so we don't have his houses, and we don't have his exact moon placement. We can say for sure that he is a moon in Pisces as well, and if he was born around midnight, then his moon would have been at around 11 degrees down here. If he was born at moon, it would have moved down here, you see 12 o'clock, and if he was born like closer to midnight, it would be at 24 degrees. Sometimes if you don't know the exact birth time and you were born later on a day, or you were born on a day where the moon is changing into the other sign, then we won't know your exact moon sign, which is to me the most important sign. But that doesn't matter. If that happens to you, if you don't have your birth time and you don't know what moon sign you might be, read about both of them, and then you might feel very much drawn to one of those, or ask your mom, or go to your, how's it called, city town hall, where they have your birth certificate, and get your birth certificate. But if you can't do that, just read both moon signs in detail, and you should recognize yourself more in one than in the other. If you recognize yourself in both, then it could mean that you are actually, your moon was very close to changing, like we saw with Kim Kardashian. It's on the cusp of the house. But for example, if the moon would be like right between those lines, like right here for example, or let's say right here on this line for example, then you would have Gemini and Cancer energy. So that is an option, that you actually do inhabit both moon signs. So back to Kanye, yeah, we can say for sure that he is a moon Pisces, but since we don't have his exact birth time, we don't have his rising sign, we don't know what happened on the horizon the moment he was born, which means we also don't have his houses. But anyway, so we do have this information. We know he is a sun in Gemini. Didn't I say earlier she would attract Gemini energy? Yes, she's got the rising sign in Gemini. He is a sun in Gemini, and we have the moon in Pisces. So let's have those in mind. You see Mercury and Venus and Mars in Taurus all over here. And then a synastry would putting both of those on top of the other, and I like the other graphic better. Okay, isn't there like better graphic? Sorry, I'm not that well prepared, obviously. I like this graphic better. So to make sure again that I'm showing you the same thing, I want to show you. Okay, so Kim Kardashian would be blue. She would be in the center, which especially makes more sense since we do have her houses. And sun is up there, and there's a lot going on in this quarter, and it's the same as here. Okay, the colors are a bit different, but it is the same as here. So this would be, this would be her birth chart, and then we place his on top. Okay, so he has the outer circle. And you may say, well, this looks different. Look, Gemini is down here and it's down here. Yes, we don't have the rising sign. Even if we did have the rising sign, it would not matter, okay? Because we already, I chose that Kim is the one who will determine the houses, okay? So this, which means the signs. She is an Aries rising, so Sagittarius rising, so Sagittarius would be here on the first house. And then if we check that, we do see he has the moon in Pisces. This is the Pisces symbol. Gemini is the sun in Gemini. And then we will see when we look at Gemini, there it is. He has the sun in Gemini right there, and Pisces is down here, so they both have the moon in Pisces. Let's take another example. I was preparing their chart as well, Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, because here we do have both houses or placements. She's got the moon in Leo, as you can see down here. She's got the sun in Aries. He has the sun in Taurus. He is a Gemini rising, as you can see, just like me, and the moon in Pisces. And then if we put those both together, we see that this is her ascendant and his is down here, okay? Because already we determined that we want, or I determined that I want her to be in the middle. So this depends on what's on the order of these symbols, but it's still the same, you know. Here we do see the Gemini rising, and now Gemini happens to be down here because for her it is down here, and that it means that the AC, it is his rising sign. You can actually with this program switch, and now it's the Gemini that's here, you know. Now we have him as the orange and her as the blue, so you can switch that up. That's whatever it makes it easier for you, or whatever you prefer. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. So, and you can tell you have the houses here as well. It starts with the Gemini rising. His first house is here, then his second. And it's nice when you have houses. Here we don't have all of the houses. We do have Kim's houses. And one thing, for example, you see Kanye's sun is falling into her 7th house, which is an amazing thing. That's something I really like in relationships, because that is talking about forming a relationship. And usually they're very harmonious relationships. However, you see a lot of red lines, so check for that video. I haven't done it yet. It's going to be interesting. I haven't really analyzed it yet, but that by itself, it's a good thing. However, we don't see her sun in what house of is he. Here we do have his sun in her relationship house. Amazing thing for a couple. That's a good thing for a couple, to be honest. It's a very, very good thing for a couple. But we don't have the other information the other way around. This information, however, it already helps you a little bit. So if you have a person, you don't have their exact time, then this is what it would look like. It is of course better if you have both signs, because here we see that it is her sun is falling. That is something I can talk about, a spiritual connection. If you have good Saturn placement, check out my video on fated signs, something like that, fated or destined signs in astrology. 12th house placement can talk about a high level soul connection if you have Saturn placements as well, because Saturn is the planet of commitment, that is grounding stuff, because 12th house placements can also talk about illusions, and we want to make sure that you don't have the illusion to be in a relationship with that person, or that they are your person, or your person for the rest of your life, or stuff like that. So it's important to check Saturn as well. So anyway, we do have her sun going into his 12th house. We know that because we do have his houses, and His sun is going into her third house. They probably have very good communication. And so synastry basically is two birth charts on top of the other. And it helps you because you see, first of all, are there connections? And we do see that with them as well. Because those planets, they move really slow. The only thing we wouldn't know is the moon, because you saw the moon could be like anywhere between here and there. So if you watch here, then it would automatically be the midpoint at 12. And we do see there's some lines going from the moon, but we don't know that. So that is something you have to discard. Don't give any meaning to the, or not too much meaning to the moon if you don't have the other person's exact time. However, we do see they do have some connections going on. What do they have? For example, here we got her north node is connected to his Saturn, and that can talk about a relationship as well. That can talk about that he was destined for her personal development in some kind of way, or this relationship was helping her in her personal development. And that probably also mean that he will be part of her life for a long time, even if they're separated right now. They do have children, so I guess they will always be in each other's life. So that is something that we'll talk about. We have one person's node and the other person's planet, and that is something we do check in astrology. Oh look, his node and her Pluto, that can talk about some karmic connection as well, and it can talk about that she was also very important for him to transform and ascend and learn things. It's also very important, beautiful if we have connections between the moon. We got her moon is connected with this line with his Mercury. So she felt, at least for a while, she felt understood by him. They maybe were thinking alike, or she felt like the way he thought really connected with her emotionally. So that is why it is important to put your charts on top of the other, because you will see a lot when it comes to that. You will see even more if you have your person's exact birth time. But basically synastry shows us how do your charts interact with one another. Do you have a lot of beautiful aspects? You see a lot of blue going on here. I haven't analyzed it yet in depth, but you do see there's a lot of good stuff going on. There's some challenging stuff going on. Don't be too worried about that, because that are things that you can overcome if you work on this relationship. But when you have many connections, that is talking about soulmate connections, especially between personal planets. And the personal planets would be the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and also the rising sign. The other planets are in a sign for a long, long time. So we don't we don't put too much focus on them. Of course, Saturn is important and Pluto is important, but if we have a lot of contact between personal planets, and we do see a lot of contact going on here, that can highlight a soul connection, because there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it can be a lot of toxic stuff, which means a lot of lessons. It could be karmic, but it could be a lot of beautiful things as well. And that is why we like to look at synastry. It shows us how they interact, maybe also how they support each other. One thing that's always beautiful, for example, if we have a positive connection between some person's moon and the other person's sun, that would be very supportive. We like, of course, if a person's Venus connection, look, we have her Jupiter on his Venus, so at least for a while he did feel love. Oh look, they got a Mercury conjunction. This again highlights that they were thinking, oh, this is Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly. They think a lot alike. They both have it in Taurus, as you can say. Different houses, hers in the 4th house, his in the 2nd. But this is like a very strong connection when it comes to their mind. Hers is at 16 degree and his is at 17 degree. So a very close connection to their Mercury, and that just shows they think alike. They have a lot in common when it comes to their interests as well. So a synastry chart can show you a lot of nasty stuff. Again, this can be big love. Jupiter is the grand planet, and Venus is love. So this can be a connection for big love. I wish it for them, I wish it for everybody, of course. So there's some good stuff going on, especially if we have one person's Saturn connected to the other person's personal planet. Especially good would be Sun, Moon, Venus. Here it's connected to her Sun, which means he is very sincere about this connection. He has strong plans. He wants to ground this. He wants a long-lasting relationship. And we do have some aspects of fate going on here with the moon and the south nodes. That's a beautiful thing. That means, if you believe in past lives, that could indicate past life. We've known each other from the past. We immediately have that feeling of feeling secure with the other person because there is some kind of recognition, and then we can go to the future together. So yeah, synastry again shows you also if you are a good match or not. If you have a lot of red lines, then maybe not so much. Look, Kim and Kanye, they have a lot going on here. You see, this connection at the first glance doesn't seem to be as strong as Megan's and Machine Gun Kelly's. You see a lot more going on here. However, they do have some stuff going on here, and it is fated as well because we do have the North Node connected to Pluto. So synastry shows you these kind of things, like where do you understand each other, where not, what lessons do you give each other, what are your chances to overcome your lessons, and things like that. And that is why, again, synastry is something that we need to look at when we want to understand what chance does this relationship have. And synastry doesn't show you about the kind of soul connection. In synastry, you wouldn't see if they are twin flames or soul twins or mirror souls as much. You would see that more when you analyze their individual energy to see if they're like matching energy. But this shows you it is a soul connection as well, and it shows you what lessons it has. And yeah, you see it does have some lessons. One of the main lessons that immediately jumps into my eye is that her Neptune is also connected to only red lines with his stuff, and that can mean that maybe she thought, oh, this is my person, and then she was disillusioned after a while because maybe he was hiding his true self. He wasn't authentic with her, or she didn't read him right, and she thought that he would be a different person than he actually is, and then she would have gotten disillusioned. That's what we can see here. And anyway, this is a synastry, one person's chart compared with the other. You want to see what planet is falling into what house of the other person and what connections they form to the other person's planet, because that can show you. For example, I said here that this connection between, where was it, here. This would be his Saturn, and we were talking about Saturn being commitment, being serious, and this forming a connection to her Sun is talking about seriousness. Those two Mercuries meeting here shows us they are absolutely compatible when it comes to their mind, their way of thinking. So this basically shows us compatibility. Is this couple compatible or not? Are they serious about each other for the long term or not? What are their chances to stay together for the long term? And that is synastry. If this helps you, please like and subscribe and click the bell icon. Check out my celebrity videos or my other videos about astrology. And I hopefully see you in another video now. Bye bye.